Each year, Shore Publishing's Beacon Awards recognize a few of the outstanding individuals who selflessly help fulfill the Shoreline community's promise as a place of opportunity, well-being, and safety for all. Over the past 7 years, we've received hundreds of nominations from readers eager to share stories of friends, neighbors, and family members who best embody the spirit of the community. From that deep pool of inspiring stories, we've selected these 15 exceptional citizens who serve as beacons of the community. Amanda Gabrielle, North Haven.
I've been involved in Unified Sports. That's the first program. So Unified Sports I started doing through school in 5th grade, and I've been doing it every season available since then. Another program I've been involved in is therapeutic horseback riding. It's adapted horseback riding for participants who have either physical or intellectual disabilities. Around 5th grade, around the same time that I started doing Unified Sports, I started doing therapeutic riding as well. And then the last one is United Way that I've been involved in. My dad has actually been working with United Way for years. He was the one who got me connected with them, and him and I co-chaired a campaign together back in 2018, so I've been working with them too.
Right, well, I'm very involved in my East Haven community. I've been a volunteer firefighter for over 20 years. I am also involved in the East Haven Food Pantry, which has been my passion for over 25 years. I act as a liaison between the food bank and the food pantry, so I do a lot of work with Stop and Shop and service to the community between New Haven all the way through Clinton. Volunteering has been something I've done my whole life. My parents are very active in the community, so it's carried on from generation to generation, and we're just deep involved with our friends. My godmother is very service involved, and it's just something that I've been doing my whole life. I find it effortless. When we're involved outside of, the lines of what we see, we contribute a lot of food to the sober houses. Life Haven New Reach program gets a lot of our services. There's a lot of overflow, and the East Haven community benefits greatly. With COVID involved, there's kids with no summers, they're not going to school, there's no socialization, the parents are out of work, so there was a lot more people in need this time, and a lot of people stepped up, and I'm pretty humbled that I'm being recognized for work that we do every day. It's not just me, there's so many people involved, and so many people, from Stop and Shop, the workers could just easily throw the food out. They take their time to package everything, knowing it's going to somebody in need.
Yeah, my name is Dennis Culleton, and I'm involved with Guilford Cares. I'm also a board member of the Guilford Fund for Education, and I'm the executive director of the Witness Stones Project. I think Guilford Cares is one that people really responded to. Probably the 3rd week of March, a lot of people in the community realized after the governor said that older people shouldn't be going shopping, that we needed to support our seniors in Guilford. So we all got together and said, how can we help out? So we immediately put together an organization using a list of volunteers that Marta Slattery had, and started shopping for people, and did it in a very organized, systematic way, so that we were some days doing 25 shopping trips where people would take a grocery list and deliver food for people living in their homes. So at the end of 3 months, we had achieved 1,000 shopping trips just here in Guilford. We had over 100 volunteers. Just people just raised their hand, said, how can I help? How can I help in the thick of COVID, go out there and help my seniors? The Witness Stones Project was a project that we started in Guilford. We started through my friend Doug Nygren, who came back from Germany and said, could we put a stone in the ground to remember the enslaved people who lived here, similar to what they do in Germany, where they put a stone in the ground where Jews lived freely before they were kidnapped and murdered during the Holocaust. Time I was an 8th grade middle school history teacher, and I said, why don't we make an educational activity out of this? So through that, we've grown into a organization that's now working with communities and schools throughout the state of Connecticut to bring the curriculum that we developed, to have the kids look at primary documents, to write stories about individual enslaved persons, and then install stones using the ideas behind the curriculum.
I'm affiliated with the North Haven Fire Department. I am a former fire commissioner for almost a quarter of a century, 24 years. I thought that we could do well by raising money to buy life-saving equipment that the town did not have in their budget. So I spoke with the chief and I spoke with the commanders on each shift. And one of the first things that I was able to purchase with the help of a lot of my friends, which we raised over $130,000 for the town. And we were able to purchase for a lack of better words, called the Jaws of Life. Then we went on and we were able to purchase a Lucas Heart Save machine. Then we thought that we needed a drone, so we went out and we purchased one. Then we thought that we needed a new all-terrain vehicle. And we're moving right along with the finest and best technology in the state of Connecticut. And lastly, I was able to purchase 10 bulletproof vests and helmets, so our firefighters could assist on a hostile scene. We're able to get in there right away and save more lives.
It's Paul the Bike Guy. I am Paul the Bike Guy. And there's a little story behind that. And there is a local group, Clinton Families Helping Families, that discovered me, I'll say, supported me, and helped really get this thing off the ground in a huge way. Once I met Minor Vincent at a local event, I had about 12 bicycles all ready to go, and I said, I got to get rid of these things. They're clogging up my garage. And I said, oh, Minor, do you know of families that need bicycles? And then I thought, wow, what if I had money to buy new tubes and new tires and supply helmets? And so now, since Clinton Families Helping Families, we've given away over 1,000 bicycles to youth in the area. Since I retired in 2017, I was doing about 130, 150 bikes a year and getting a stipend from Clinton Families Helping Families. So what I would do is just work on the bicycles, scavenge them, people would drop them off and donate them to me, and I would redistribute them.
My prime involvement is with Middlesex Habitat for Humanity, and I've been with them after I retired in 2002. I moved back to Essex and knew I wanted to give back, and ended up getting involved with Middlesex Habitat for Humanity in 2006. And I started out volunteering, organizing a group from St. John's Episcopal Church, went up to Middletown and worked on the Huber Street house. And then from there, I got involved with land acquisition. And I worked with finding the opportunity to open up a restore for our affiliate, and chaired the committee to build the business plan, and then was on the advisory council. I've been on the board of directors. I was there from 2008 to 2020. I've been president twice. I'm very heavily involved with development. In the last 5 or 6 years, Sarah Bird, our executive director, and myself are heavily involved with building relationships around the community and building funds for us to make a difference in affordable housing. My other organization I'm involved with is Sister Cities Essex Haiti. We're working on developing or helping with fundraising for Hospital Albert Schweitzer down in Deschapelle, Haiti, to build a 3,000 square foot library down there in rural Haiti. It's made a huge difference down there.
So primarily, my main group would be the Community Integration Mentoring Program, or CIMP. So I actually am the founder of CIMP, and I created it about 2 years ago. CIP definitely works with students that are English language learners, but are not necessarily limited to this group only. So we focus on really teaching these kids the importance of community involvement. In doing so, these students ultimately get to learn about the world around them. But basically, I bring in students from all over Connecticut to go and work with the students that are in New Haven, primarily Fairhaven. And these students are English language learners. Everything that we do with these students, everything has a central idea of teaching these kids about the importance of being active members in their community. This year, I look to expand the program, potentially making it into a nonprofit. Throughout the quarantine, we're really focused on helping out and reaching out to the community and providing relief, COVID relief for families, particularly in the greater New Haven area. This past year, so we actually organized 3 food drives, and the food drives were with the help of Everson Soccer Academy, Jinga FC, the Soccer Club of Guilford, and the Guilford High School class of 2020. But this was a really great way for people within our community to get involved and feel as if they were providing some sort of relief to those that were in need in their area.
I was able to set up the North Haven Special Needs Advisory Group, which still stands mostly as a Facebook group, support group, advocacy group through Facebook, through connecting people. We call it mostly like a virtual resource center. But from families, from friends of mine, we were able to set up the special education PTA. So we were able to stand up and become the PTA for special education for the PTA here in North Haven. And I like to advocate at different levels, at the state level. I sit at the State Advisory Council for Special Education as well. We help with the special education department to set new rules, to look what is missing within the state. I stand as self-advocate for mental and behavioral health myself, someone with bipolar and ADHD. So that's why it helps a lot within the education to explain how kids have different way to think, different way to learn, and that might take a little longer. Another place that I like to advocate a lot is with Keep the Promise, the coalition. Keep the Promise coalition stands for mental and behavioral health, actually. It's a coalition of providers and self-advocates like myself and families. We try to bring the resources that the state have failing on providing to the families. Like right now, we need more beds in the hospitals.
I started with Liberty Community Services years ago in New Haven. I actually was a big participant in their yearly gala, as well as organizing their silent auction. And I don't know if you're familiar with Liberty, but they are an organization for the homeless in New Haven, the city of New Haven. From there, I moved on to running mini road races and doing bike rides, raising money for many different organizations. And most recently, in this past year, I work at the Community Dining Room in Brantford, and I've been there 5 years. And our organization is a nonprofit that serves the underserved community who are really food insecure. So we serve lunch every day there. Normally, prior to COVID, the kitchen was run with about 12 volunteers who I manage. When COVID hit, we were limited to 5 people. You know, we still wanted to continue to help everyone and feed everyone. Connecticut COVID-19 Charity Connection is a nonprofit organization and helps support all the families impacted by COVID. And that with families, we mean first responders. That race was wonderful. I really enjoyed doing that. I followed it up with the Brantford Road Race, which had been a tradition for me for years. And I hadn't done it again until this year virtually. The Brantford Road Race organization decided to split the money between the Brantford Food Pantry and the Community Dining Room. And last I knew, they had raised over $5,000 from the entry fees to split between the organizations.
Some of the organizations I'm associated with, one being where I work part-time, and I volunteer a lot at Shoreline Community Church. And I am the administrative assistant there part-time, but I also am a part of the events committee. We put on a lot of the community or even church family events that happen, like one being Light the Night. On the Branford Green. We take part in the parade. We do whatever we can involving the community. I'm part of the Branford Early Childhood Collaboration. In that organization, I'm a parent voice, actually. Me and a friend of mine, Rachel, we are both the parent voice for that organization. So we just go to the meetings, talk about how the organization or the collaboration is benefiting the people that it serves, which is low-income families. The Branford Early Childhood Collaborative provides child care for those families in different organizations within the town. So for the town of Branford, they have one being the BELC, which is the Branford Early Learning Center. They provide child care for the low-income families, as well as work with in-home providers to help them get where they need to be as far as statutes, standards, and all that stuff.
So we organized a march in Madison, Connecticut for the Black Lives Matter movement. With everything happening, I think a lot of people wanted a way to use their voices, and we all felt a lot of different emotions, especially as a person of color. I felt like I had a lot to say, and a lot of people I found felt the same. So we have a diversity club at our school, and some of the members from that and other different groups got together because there was a vigil also in Madison, which was a really cool event. From that, we decided we wanted to do something else that was more vocal. So we all kind of just got together, and it took a lot of different volunteers, a lot of different students, but I think it was successful. It's about equality. It's about Black people being oppressed in this country for over 400 years and just trying to reach equality with everyone else. That's kind of what it's about for me, yeah.
A most important one that I do is the Shoreline Soup Kitchen and Food Pantries. And I've been there since about 2009. And initially I started out as, actually I had my own table. I had the produce table, and I would give out food during the once a week where we give groceries to the customers at the food pantries. So now what I do is I pick up food twice a week over at Stop and Shop, and I make deliveries over to the food pantry, and weigh up, bring all the bags in, weigh them all. And I'm not involved in that, with the clients all the time like I used to be. But I've done both of them and enjoy doing it. What I've been doing during the pandemic, how I've been doing grocery shopping and errands and things like that for some of the elderly people and people with undergoing cancer treatment and that kind of stuff. I've been doing that since March.
I am most associated, I think, with the Youth and Family Services of Old Saybrook, and have been for quite some time, and it's been such a joy to be part of it in many different ways. I also actually volunteer for the University of Connecticut Alumni Association, and have been doing that for quite some time as well. So I'm just coming off my tenure as the chair of the Youth and Family Services Commission, although I've been associated with the commission for close to 18 years now in different capacities. And again, that's been such a joy to be part of a decision-making body and a body that helps to guide youth and family, because they do such amazing work throughout the lifespan of the citizens of Old Saybrook. And it was, again, really having this heart of the community in youth and family to rally and to galvanize support and to galvanize just people doing just what people do best, and that is giving of themselves and being themselves.
We've heard what these honorees do for the community. Now let's hear how that service rewards them.
I've actually realized that dream of being a community volunteer, and it does make me feel wonderful. I meet wonderful people, I make people happy. It doesn't get better than this.
Pretty humbled that I'm being recognized for work that we do every day. It's not just me, there's so many people involved. There's people that are on the front lines, dealing directly with the public and handing it out to people and establishing relationships and inspiring people. So
I wanted to give back to the community because they give so much. They give so much. And it's not that they make exorbitant amounts of money, they don't.
Gosh, I just love when I run into the clients, out in public somewhere, whether it's the grocery store or somewhere else, and, they say, what you guys do, what you volunteers do there is so amazing. And, they tell us their stories, and you just get to know them. You see these people every week, and you get to know their families and their stories, and it's a really wonderful organization.
I think that it's something that you kind of have in your DNA. It's a kind of job that you never do it for the money. You're doing it because you're able to help other people, and of course that makes individuals feel great. It makes me feel great. But I think so many of the volunteers felt the same way. What can I do on a daily basis to help change what's going on in our community?
I love to see the love of other people. I just love when I can see that they are loved, and if anything, it gives more to me than they would ever know. So I just love it. It's like no other feeling that you'd ever feel.
I feel like I'm not a human if I'm not helping or if I'm not giving my time. That's me. I think my dad over-educated me with the Cub Scouts. I was a Cub Scout too. So.
It's not about building homes. It's about building hope for a hand up with affordable housing for our partner families. Through the years, it's been some wonderful relationships I've built with the families, and seeing the success of what homeownership gives them as far as giving them stability, self-reliance, and strength. Some real success stories, and that's what keeps me motivated. Thank you so much, and thank you for this honor. I mean, it's a wonderful way to build more awareness of the good things we're doing in the community. So I really appreciate that support. And so about 3 years ago, we were able to acquire a grant from the Sturgis Redfield Foundation, and I really would like to thank them. Sturgis Redfield has passed away, but his organization gave us a decent grant specifically for building a home in Westbrook. And I want to thank all the companies and support we've had in the community to make this project happen.
It's 100% my parents and my family, my brothers and sisters are inspiring. They're all out there. A couple of them really do a lot for others all the time, and they're all our busy lives. Of course, my immediate family. And of course, my children. My daughter's an incredible social activist. I'm very proud of her. She really, I can't tell you how she inspires me, as well as my 2 sons.
Thank you, and keep doing this. That's amazing for others, at least.
Probably my husband. My husband, he's always there to help me, and he's been very supportive, and he's just very strong for me.